In today's digital world, your data is more exposed than ever, scattered across various platforms and constantly under threat. Traditional, fragmented security tools just don't cut it anymore. They make processes cumbersome, slow, and complicated to manage when things go awry. That's why I'm excited to talk about Cohesity Data Cloud. It's a game changer. Cohesity offers a single AI-powered platform that not only protects and secures your data, but also unlocks valuable insights. It uses AI and automation to detect threats early and enables you to recover your data in hours, not days. With Cohesity, you're not just reacting, you're proactively building resilience across AI, cloud, and identity systems. Want to enhance your data security and management? Visit cohesity.com/datacloud. Cohesity, resilience everywhere.
And everyone was using AI at the time as chatbot messages. And we said, no, AI is going to be long-lasting, living with us. That means some pieces need to respond fast, some pieces respond slow. They become heavily dependent on each other, which today we refer to them as agents. So we stepped out with that mission in mind that compute is going to be heavily consumed by inference. And inference behavior is going to be completely different than what it was in 24. The infrastructure, the software ecosystem, will not be able to let us scale. I'm Behnam Bastani, CEO and co-founder of OpenInfer.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do
took
next.
many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their back.
The company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve
I was
more.
proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was a
Yes,
pain.
we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time. The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took it
you.
off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really want it. Not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story.
I'm your host, Noah Labhart, and today how Behnam Bastani has built the inference OS for the agentic era to close the gap between AI's promise and what infra can deliver. This episode is brought to you by Tiger Data. Stop bolting separate databases onto your stack. Tiger Data is 100% unforked Postgres. Same ORMs, same drivers, no pipeline maintenance. As Cloudflare's team put it, you keep analytical and config data under one roof with specialized OLAP performance. Try it today at tigerdata.com. This episode is brought to you by Protected Harbor. Your infrastructure scales, but does it actually understand your apps? With Protected Harbor's Application-Aware Infrastructure, or AAI, your tech automatically aligns with app performance while built-in zero-trust security verifies every user and workload. Give your team total control without the complexity. Go to protectedharbor.com/codestory to learn how. This episode is brought to you by Render. Stop jumping between 4 vendor consoles just to host your stack. Render runs your web services, databases, background workers, and AI workflows all in one single cloud platform. Connect your repo, push your code, and you're live. No serverless timeouts or crazy setups. Ship faster today with render.com. Behnam Bastani is originally from Tehran, Iran. He left the country at the age of 17, setting out for Canada, where he got his master's and PhD, before moving to California. He's always looked at things with the big picture in mind, whether that is artwork, woodwork, engineering, etc. He's worked for Hewlett Packard, Meta, and Roblox before starting his current venture. But outside of technology, he loves to exercise and participate in water activities. For peace of mind, he gardens, experimenting with growing trees, replanting, and seeding. Previously, Behnam went to Meta to pursue the future of wearables. He immediately realized that these wearables required a connected system. He started to ask the question, why can't we use compute around us to fuel wearables? Eventually, through stints at Meta and Roblox, he and his co-founder knew that they wanted this type of system and started with the infrastructure to enable it. This is the creation story of OpenInfer.
I mentioned system is the thinking that I had, system building, looking at the entire stack as a system. It was at Meta, Facebook, where I was hired. I left Google to Meta to think about future of wearables, virtual reality, augmented reality. It was in that moment that it became very clear to me how the systems were built. Virtual reality and augmented reality was piecemeal of pieces together, a software, a lens, an optics system, computing, and we were getting limited experiences. We were getting either a virtual reality headset that had to get connected to a PC, or a mobile virtual reality that was really poor experience. Why can't we have a great experience on the head at super low cost? Why can't we use ecosystem around us, compute around us? Maybe it's a PC, maybe it's cloud. Why can't we use that for VR? And everyone said because of latency and it caused people sick, so on and so forth. That was the time that I said, you know what, if we look at the entire system, how compression, how streaming, how rendering, how AI works together, we can come up with a solution that perfectly brings best experience of VR into mobile headset. That's where I actually met my co-founder, Reza. Reza and I built Oculus Link, LINK, which really changed the way virtual reality was being done, not just at Meta, across the industry. Link was a compute platform, where we broke down pieces of compute from rendering to graphics to audio to haptics in a way that heavy portion can be offloaded, and we could use AI to mitigate latency. So it became a pipeline of pieces that some happens on your head, some happens on a PC over wireless, and some can go all the way to the cloud over wireless. That changed the game. That let us introduce the first headsets that was the cheapest in the world, best experience, and we shut down competition by far. Zuckerberg announced it in 2019. I went on stage with my co-founder. We talked about it, and then we scaled it to millions. And then we took on a bigger challenge, leaving Meta together to Roblox, the gaming company. And we repeated the same game there. In that time, it was bringing voice moderation, all the kids talking multilingual, away from AWS, NVIDIA GPUs to run on Roblox's infrastructure, which was only CPU-based. No one thought that you can do all AI inference on CPU. This is 2023. And doing it at such a large scale. And that was possible because we look at the entire stack again as a system. Moderation is not just model, it's not just inference, it's not deployment, it's everything. And when you do everything together, you look at the system, then you make things that are completely thought being impossible in the past. So we saw the opportunity, we saw the world is moving heavily into AI inference and usage of AI. We said the world's biggest compute need is going to be around inference, usage of AI. And that was in 2024, where everyone was saying modeling, training is the big topic. We said, no, usage is going to be the topic. And everyone was using AI at the time as chatbot messages. And we said, no, AI is going to be long-lasting, living with us. That means some pieces need to respond fast, some pieces respond slow. They become heavily dependent on each other, which today we refer to them as agents. So we stepped out with that mission in mind that compute is going to be heavily consumed by inference, and inference behavior is going to be completely different than what it was in 24. The infrastructure, the software ecosystem that is built around it will not be able to let us scale. We need to do something fundamentally different. We need to look at the entire system in terms of how the hardware, how low-level kernels, how the management of resources, how the processing of AI, to even how routing between different servers are done. Everything built with that mission in mind of long-lasting collaborative AI inferences, aka agentic AI. So we stepped out in 2024. We started a company, and my co-founder and I, now we're in this journey. We started opening Fair with a mission in mind to bring AI inference anywhere, any hardware, any infrastructure by making AI ubiquitous.
Let's dive into what you would consider the MVP then. So that first version when you stepped out, how long did it take to build and what sort of tools were you using to bring it to life?
MVP is the hardest, and especially for startups, particularly these days, that the market also changes very quickly. We went after portable ecosystem devices where inference was very underserved. Soon we realized the market pulled us into the cloud, neo clouds, which is a new topic actually. These are all smaller cloud providers, compute providers, where they wanted to serve AI, but they don't have the infrastructure and capability to bring up inference. They can only rent out GPUs. We started with devices, but then soon we got pulled into this direction. We had to adjust. Neo cloud became a topic early 2026, and demand was very big. We had to repivot ourselves to make sure we can hit that demand. Agility was critical, and we built today our MVP serving neo clouds, bringing inference AI to their infrastructure so they can start selling tokens. They don't just rent out GPUs. They can rent out GPUs with a software stack on top of it that does inference. Typically, their profit margin goes up by as much as 50%. Huge value prop for them. They can now sell a lot more, higher value prop on their pure hardware, and a huge gain for their clients because now they don't have to bring software pieces from here and there. They get one stack, everything runs on them. It reminds me of VMware, where they say, you know what, I don't care about your hardware underneath it. I'm going to virtualize the world for you. We're now virtualizing inference for neo clouds. Don't care if it's what type of GPU you have older, newer ones, you have a mixture of CPUs, or you're actually seeing a lot newer compute coming in. We virtualize it, meaning we abstract it out. You bring your agent, you bring your workload, it works on that neo cloud. Pain reduction for the user, pain reduction for neo cloud, the ones that are offering inference, and us, we're taking the portion of that win.
I want to stay on that for a minute. I'm curious about a decision or trade-off you had to make in building that first MVP. And I could probably cherry pick a couple of things from what you said, but I'm curious about one that really shaped the product and really shaped your approach. And maybe it's like acceptance of debt or how you go to market or anything like that. Tell me about one of those you had to make and how you coped with it.
I've been on the other side where startups were pitching to me all the time. And I'm like, you're solving the wrong problem. I'm not going to buy it. So rather than us jumping into building, we spent quite a bit of time to really understanding the problem. And we made sure we have major design partners through that journey. These design partners are clients, are customers that are willing to start early on, co-prototype with us, and they're big enough that they can shape the industry. So obviously, it's really hard early on to find these partners that are willing to take a risk to work with a startup. And it requires a lot of work, a lot of prep, a lot of prototyping together. But that was the biggest item. We are lucky now that we have 5 major Fortune 500 that worked with us within the past 5 years, and they're sticking along, and we're going to major launches together. They shaped us. They guided us. Of course, we're not taking every single direction, but it's informing what the industry is actually looking. That was the biggest lesson I took as a win, to make sure the company stays in the right direction and we're serving the problem that's worth significant dollar.
This episode is brought to you by Tiger Data. If you're like me, your architecture diagram started simple until someone added a specialized time series DB, a couple of pipelines, and suddenly you're babysitting 4 databases at 2 a.m. Stop doing that to yourself. Enter Tiger Data. It's 100% unforked, pure Postgres. Same drivers, same ORMs, same standard SQL. 0 new query languages to learn. And not just in theory. FlexiGrid consolidated 4 databases down to just one instance and got 350 times faster queries. Blueco ingests 3 billion points a month, and Orca processes over $500 million in daily trading volume. Maybe you've heard of Cloudflare? Yeah, that Cloudflare. The way they put it, with Tiger Data, you get OLAP speed right alongside config data, all under one roof. As you can see, Tiger Data handles serious scale. The storage compression is absurd, and your cloud bill will thank you. So streamline your stack today. Head over to tigerdata.com and see why over 3 million Tiger Data databases are running right now. That's tigerdata.com.
Let's talk about something crucial. Your data. It's spread far and wide, and it's constantly under threat. And the truth, many organizations still rely on outdated, disjointed tools, making everything from daily operations to emergency responses slow and complex. Enter Cohesity Data Cloud. This isn't just another tool, it's a game changer. Imagine having one AI-powered platform that not only secures and protects your data, but also unlocks valuable insights. With Cohesity, you can detect threats faster with AI and automation. And if things go south, you're not stuck waiting days for recovery. You're back up in hours, ready to build resilience across AI, cloud, and identity. Visit cohesity.com/datacloud today. Cohesity, resilience everywhere.
So then, you're a year and a half in, let's say after that MVP point, how have you progressed and matured the product, or how are you progressing and maturing it? And I think to wrap that in a box a little bit, what I'm looking for is, how do you build your roadmap? How do you go about deciding that, okay, this is the next most important thing to build or to address with OpenInfra?
I again use our customers. Once you pick these clients, when they have massive market share, continuously you learn about what's the next problem, what's the next problem, what's the next problem. Today, as an example, NeoClouds, huge. And who are your design partners? Those that make servers, those that make silicons, those that make AI models. Those are your design partners. We go in. And those design partners are saying NeoClouds, how we use them. But now a trend of sovereign cloud are coming on. The idea of AI where the data lives. So now you start thinking about future of AI. Maybe a portion lives in the cloud. Maybe a portion lives on the NeoCloud. Maybe a portion lives on your own infrastructure. Maybe a portion of that AI runs on your laptop. How would now that ecosystem work? So that's basically shaping our roadmap, and we're seeing the roadmap as actually going in that direction, the direction that AI needs.
This episode is brought to you by Protected Harbor. Guys, I'm sure your IT infrastructure can scale, but does it actually know what your applications need? Or is it just throwing bandwidth at the problem and hoping nobody breaks in? That's where Protected Harbor and Application-Aware Infrastructure, or AAI, comes in. Instead of hoping for the best, Application-Aware Infrastructure aligns your tech resources directly with what your apps actually need to perform safely. Plus, it's engineered with built-in zero-trust security. That means every user, device, and workload gets verified continuously. No automatic passes, no free rides. You get total visibility and ironclad control without making life a living nightmare for your dev teams. You get to build, deploy, and scale on infrastructure designed around security from day one. So stop assuming your network is safe and start knowing it is. Go to protectedharbor.com/codestory to learn how AAI can strengthen your stack today. That's protectedharbor.com/codestory.
It's to live where the data is. Banks, robotics, drones, they're ingesting, they're generating tons of data. Sometimes they need responses fast. Sometimes they can shove the data to the cloud. It costs huge dollar amount. Sometimes it means loss of sovereignty. How do you make it happen? It's good to say you bring AI where the data is, but then how do you bring the compute? When you may not want to bring the whole compute, how do you split the compute? How do you make sure the computes work together? So this is, we are at the beginning of the MVP, solving a hard problem, generating revenue. But I look at it as, I guess Tesla is a good example, right? They built the Roadster. Roadster wasn't to generate money. It was such a niche market, but taught them a lot. Then they built Model S. Model S was about scaling. Can you actually scale now that Roadster to mass adoption? And then after that, it was cost reduction brought Model 3. Not even it teaches you about the market, but also it brings you revenue and lets you fund bigger and bigger ambitions. Same thing for us. We're building our own Roadster in NeoClouds, very niche market. It's gonna form our own scale operation, and then after that, the cost reduction.
I'm curious about team. This is a challenging problem you're solving, and I'm curious about how you went about bringing your team on. What did you look for in those people to indicate that they were the winning horses to join you?
Being in the Valley for 15, 20 years, working in industries for close to 30 years, I learned a lesson, sometimes in the hard way, that people is the biggest asset of the company. Talent, harmony of that talent is the biggest one. Once you bring the right team, you structure it, innovation, progress comes in, inefficiency goes away. So we put a lot of effort to handpick, hand select, filter out. And sometimes if you had to say goodbye to partners, so the team is structured well. A lot of people say, hey, how big is your team? Is it like 50, 100? No, these days with AI, with agentic, with code gen and all those tools we have around us, it's not about number of people you have. It's about the design, it's about structure, it's about harmony. And selecting the people, building the team is the most critical one. So we made a hard choice. Everyone has to be local. We have to meet in person all the time. That's where creativity comes in. Of course, there's a huge cost that goes with it, being in the Bay Area, whereas I could have hired in other areas, with exceptions, going beyond the Bay Area in specific location when it makes sense for specific areas of the operation. And then making sure throughout that journey, the culture, we put a lot of thoughts in terms of culture fit, collaboration. And even when we were super small, we always put a trial period. Does it work or not? Let's both sides need to figure out if this is the right fit. And you know what? I had situations that I really wanted that candidate. Candidate came in and you're like, this is not a fit for me. That's better than if they came in and then they walk out. So, all right, that's okay. It's not selling and getting the people, it's getting the right people in the right group. So we are a small team. We're under 20. We thrive. We're the top in the world, we believe, that knows how to work together, make things happen that no one thought it's possible in the past. And quite a few of us we worked together in the past. Yeah, most of us, a good portion of us are ex-Meta folks that we went to different routes and now coming back because we built things together a couple of times and we like repeating that.
This episode is brought to you by Render. If you're building modern full-stack apps or AI agents, you know the drill. Your front end is on one platform, your database is on another, background jobs are on a third, and half your day is spent jumping between vendor consoles. It's exhausting. That's why you need to check out Render. Render is the cloud for builders, a single platform for your web services, Postgres databases, background workers, and cron jobs. You connect your Git repo, push your code, and it's live in production with automatic TLS and zero downtime deploys. Connect your repo, push, and done. Plus, unlike serverless platforms that time out mid-execution, Render's compute is persistent, with features like render workflows, long-running AI agent loops, and multi-step jobs run smoothly without you having to build complex queue or retry logic. Over 6 million developers are shipping on Render, scaling from early builds to millions of users on the exact same platform. Head to render.com and ship your next project today. That's render.com. Let's move into scalability. And this is baked into your bread and butter here, but I'm curious about how scale was approached from the early days, and also if there have been interesting areas where you've had to fight scale as you've grown.
There are two angles that we severely think about. One is direction that we need to scale, and B, how we approach the scale. As an example, when does it make sense to bring scale, build up or go-to-market, sales, operation, marketing. And then how do you seed that scale? Do you bring head of sales, or do you bring a junior person? Do you bring them full-time, or you contract them out? Do you bring sales, or you bring revenue person? You bring product person, or you bring XYZ? And I'm not saying I've done the best and I got the best recipe, but it's when things are a bit dark and you're trying to scale and you're trying to figure out directions you want to scale and how you scale it, there is always an art to evaluate directions, especially if there is quite a bit of ambiguity. The evaluation becomes more clear when you look at how others are approaching it, what have they learned, what things haven't gone well, but also coming up with creative ways to give it a try, give it a shot, and not be afraid to lose and repeat in the different directions. Yes, scale is a big one. If you scale incorrectly, it can make you go bankrupt, go crazy, and not be productive at all. And it's an art, that we should be okay to back out and adjust and repeat again. And that's the approach I've been taking.
As you step out on the balcony and you look across all that you've built thus far with OpenInfra, what are you most proud of?
3 things. I said the team, the architecture, if that's to say the system we built, and C, the vision that we picked. The vision, what we are truly unlocking. Like 2 years ago, no one believed in us, and now it's like the hottest thing. The team, like this is the top in the world that has done this multiple times, things that people thought it's impossible. And architecture, system designs, they're modular, so creative that it can literally today can run on big cloud environment. And we have examples in our research lab. It can squeeze and run on a tiny Raspberry Pi, single core CPU. How this scale can adjust itself. How can it now become swarm of operations? So I'm very proud of how architecturally we thought about it, we designed it, but also we took one sliver through that design and we make sure MVP gets launched within time and generates revenue. So those are the 3 steps I'm proud of.
Let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
We started the company and we wanted to go after a market to be heavily differentiated. When you want to be heavily differentiated, you typically go to a market that is fairly new. But maybe that wasn't the smartest choice. We went after a very new market, collaborative robotics, physical AI, collaborative physical AI. And we said future is about that. The challenges we're seeing, and maybe now it's obvious, in 2024, we were expecting by 2026, robotics is generating revenues, right? They're selling. Reality is, I think it's going to be another 3, 4, 5, maybe something years that you actually see people are selling robots. It's getting more and more mass adopted. We could have gone at much simpler markets that are already there, and just go serve there. And then when others come in, we go after those. So maybe that was a mistake. Not always being differentiated or in a market is the right thing. It's just solving the problem. And if others are making money, it means it generates money. So let's just go after that. But the good thing, the success is, we were not afraid of adjusting. We were not afraid of learning and quickly adjusting. And we took the learnings from that because it helped us to really architect the problem with the vision in mind that we start from neo clouds, but inference is going to run everywhere. AI is going to run everywhere. So it was a mistake. We took it as a learning opportunity, and we took pieces to really position us better in the next trial.
Okay, let's move into the future then. Tell me what the future looks like for OpenInfra, for where the industry is going, for all the things that are happening, for what you're building. Tell me what the future looks like.
There's 2 angles. One, running AI is a portion of that. AI should be solving a problem. A problem means there needs to be an application. There needs to be a place to run it. There needs to be type of data it progresses. So we need to think more and more vertically. How we get closer and closer to the end customers. And then technologically think about how AI inference is changing. It started from hyperscalers. We're seeing now neoclouds. You're going to see more and more maturity that these things become more affordable to run in your own infrastructure. So there is heterogeneity of the hardware, of the compute, of the stacks that you're going to see. And you're going to see more and more players that are solving hard problems, but problems that have to be solved with the best experience for these agents to live with you, by you, and more importantly, grow with you, learn from you. And these two dimensions we're going to walk steps between the two axes in the next couple of years and make sure we're taking it as a set of stairs and we have products in each step.
Let's switch to you, Behnam. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to and why.
I listen to a lot of successful leaders quite often. But also spiritually, I listen to a lot of folks that have gone through a spiritual path, whether it's meditation, whether it's calmness. Believe it or not, both have huge impact in shaping a leadership style, but also innovation. I constantly listen to podcasts. I constantly listen to YouTube's interviews by successful leaders in industries, past and new, and the ones that are live now. And also spiritually, how people have shared their experience and things have gone well. And those two, I think, become a good mix of directions that I can absorb and I can iterate on. But also, it keeps me focused and calm through that journey.
Okay, Behnam, last question. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world. And can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit?
Can you succinctly tell me the problem? And then tell me why you. Are you ready for this journey? Do you know what it takes? Knowing the problem, knowing why you. And then after that, I want to see the excitement in their eyes. Do you know how you want to approach this? But the first two are the most critical ones. What's the problem? Do you really think there is a problem? Can you see the future of the problem? And are you up for it? Why you? You should be able to answer that, right? And then they should have at least a story. And I love it if the story is short. 1 minute, 30 seconds. How they're gonna tackle this. So like elevator pitch, if you will. That's the most critical one. If you're not able to succinctly say that, that means you haven't understood the problem.
I think all that is fantastic. It's a fantastic way to approach it and fantastic advice. Behnam, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for telling the creation story of OpenInfer.
Thank you.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening. Hey guys, if you're curious about how AI is built and actually understands you, I recommend listening to Working Smarter, a podcast from Dropbox about how AI is changing the way we work and get stuff done. Work today is scattered and fragmented across all these different tools. None of them have the full picture of what you need or what actually matters to you. But on the new season of Working Smarter, you'll hear how Dropbox engineers have been building context-aware intelligence that connects to all the tools your team uses for work, so you get AI that works wherever you do. With episodes on context engineering, multi-model search, agentic AI, security, and more, Working Smarter goes beyond the scenes to show you what it takes to build better AI tools for modern work, and how they can help you work smarter too. Listen to the latest episodes of Working Smarter wherever you get your podcasts, or visit workingsmarter.ai.
Capital One's tech team isn't just talking about multi-agentic AI. They already deployed one. It's called Chat Concierge, and it's simplifying car shopping. Using self-reflection and layered reasoning with live API checks, it doesn't just help buyers find a car they love. It helps schedule a test drive, get pre-approved for financing, and estimate trade-in value. Advanced, intuitive, and deployed. That's how they stack. That's technology at Capital One.